The Haunted Gym. Now I know what you're thinking. A haunted gym? Come on, that's gotta be fake. Believe me, I would have thought I was crazy hearing this too. I've always been a skeptic, but this really changed me. I'm the person who loves science and can always find a logical explanation for something, even when it's a huge stretch like this. But no, I'm not joking. These experiences changed me and my team forever. You believe I'm not crazy yet? Well, that's good. Let me tell you my story. I've been doing gymnastics for about 9 years at this point, and I'm competing level 8 this year. But this story begins about a year and a half ago, in November of 2017. Competition season was rapidly approaching, and plans were being made to move our gym across town before the month was out. We were working harder than usual in our gym. Our team was burning out, and we really needed to remember why we love this sport so much. My floor coaches, Gabby and Maya, sat us all down one day to have a team chat. Brooke, Abby, Sydney, Emma, Charlie, Elena, and I sat in our usual semicircle at our feet. I can tell you're losing it. I am too. So I propose a break. After Friday's practice, we'll have another sleepover. That may be our last chance in this gym. Everyone, of course, loved Gabby's proposal. All of our past sleepovers had been some of the funnest experiences at the gym, and they'd really brought us closer together. This one was to be no exception. My teammates all agreed to bring drinks, games, and of course you have to have food. "We're gonna make this the best sleepover ever," exclaimed Emma. The day arrived, and we were all itching to get practice over with so we could party. We listened to Charlie's new song titled, "I Got Two Boobsicles." It was ridiculous, but we loved her songs and her strange, twisted 11-year-old brain. It was an average practice filled with laughs in between exercise after exercise. The time finally came for us to stay. First on the agenda, wiffle ball. We split into teams and played our hearts out. As I'm up to bat, I swung and I hit. I threw my bat aside. Once I threw my bat aside, I heard a scream. Brooke was on the ground, hands over her face, looking like she'd just seen a ghost. She took her hands away, and her eye was bright red. "You idiot," she shouted, almost giggling. All I saw was the bat coming at my eye, and then just pain. I'd hit her with the flying bat. Wiffle ball was almost over after that, and with the collegiate softball talents of Gabby and the pure stubbornness of Sydney and myself, we had managed to squeeze in our victory. Next up was some dancing and our annual ugly dance-off. We all spread out across the floor in front of the tall, vast mirrors we used to practice our routines. That was cut short, because soon after the music had started playing, Elena noticed something was wrong. Guys, she shouted until one of us decided that maybe what she had to say was more important than us doing the worm. We shut off the music and turned on the lights. "What the hell do you want, Elena?" we all asked. "Those haven't been there, have they? No one did that. How could we have not noticed?" she asked, her voice slightly shaking. All of us confused, we stared at her like she was crazy. We thought maybe she was crazy until she slowly raised her hand, pointing to the top of the mirror. There they were, long, thin, white handprints all across the top of the mirror. There were some very large, claw-like ones, upside down, twisted, all over the place. Some of them were tiny, almost as if a baby had crawled across the mirror. They were twisted, upside down, and in no special pattern as well. It was like I could feel the hands clawing up and down my back, and the chills sent me to the ground. We were all floored, staring in horror and awe. "Did one of you pull that? Come on, don't scare us. This is total bullshit," I said. I knew in my heart it wasn't any of them, but my skepticism prevented me from believing what I was seeing. None of us did that. There's no way anyone could do that without standing on something. Abby had always been like an older sister to me. She was strong and fearless, but now even her voice was high-pitched and quivering with fear. We all sat there almost silently for a few minutes, just processing the image before us. Being tweens and teens, each of us took out our phones and snapped a shot of the prints. In a vain attempt to lighten the mood, Emma said, "The big ones look like a Sheldon made them." We were too creeped out to fully appreciate the humor, but a lighter mood came over us like a blanket. "The little ones are definitely a little girl, like the girls in The Shining," Charlie remarked. I dubbed her Lucy, but that wasn't quite right. Sydney suggested Lucille, and something about that sent a chill up my neck. "Lucille," repeated Maya, and I could tell that she too had felt what I had. "I can't look at them anymore. Let's get rid of them," Brooke suggested. This kind of paranormal activity affected her the most. She had always believed in ghosts and grew up in an old house with many experiences I had chalked up to coincidence or some other phenomenon. Now, I wasn't so sure about that. Gabby and Maya grabbed the cleaning supplies and a couple of step ladders, and soon the mirrors looked as if no hands had ever touched them. Scared, but determined to keep up with the fun of the sleepover, we decided to play Blackie hide and go seek, but in the nearly pitch black of the gym at night. The only light coming in was the dim beams of occasional headlights on the road outside, streaming through the dusty garage door windows. Rounds went by, and my spots were legendary. I will say, I've always been pretty good at finding tight corners and spaces no person would check. The round when it happened was no exception. Let's pause the story real quick, and let me give you a layout of our gym. When you walk in the front door, there's a lobby. The lobby enters into a seating area. The seating area is next to a small carpeted zone we call the preschool area. In front of both of those is the spring floor, and towards the left side are the vaults. Farther to the left is the trampoline and some other mats and storage. The vaults naturally have runways that extend all the way to the back of the gym. On the far left, past the trampoline area, are the parallel bars. Behind the floor, on the opposite side of the runway, are the bars, and on the far right of the bars are the beams. Littered throughout are piles of mats and other drills. Now this may seem fairly arbitrary, and frankly, probably confusing right now, but I'll promise you, it'll all make sense. This is what made the round absolutely spine-chilling. Gabby, Maya, and Abby were grouped together to be the seekers. They retreated to the lobby to count as we scrambled in the darkness to find our spots. I chose to hide in the darkest corner of the preschool area, under a small and colorful beam that was covered up by a thin mat. I made sure I had a peephole. Everyone else was scattered and hid, and after all the noise of moving mats had died down, I swore I heard a faint noise. I heard it again. But this time, it was in my ear.